So we're going to be using Durbin-Watson statistic to test whether there is autocorrelation or not. Now what is autocorrelation? Autocorrelation means correlation with itself. That is, are the residuals correlated with itself? Okay. What does that mean? Well, are the residuals correlated with itself over time? So what we can do is we can take the residuals as one column and then you copy the residuals as a second column, but now time phase it by one period. So now you're looking at residual in one period with, you're pairing that with residuals from the immediate previous period. So if the residuals from one period is correlated with the residual of the next immediate period, so that means there is correlation over time between the residuals. So the residuals are not independent. So the residual in one period has an impact on the residual on the next period. So that's what autocorrelation is. So here is how we'll compute the autocorrelation, the Durbin-Watson test statistic for autocorrelation, and that is residual minus the residual from the previous period. So take the difference, square it, sum that, and then sum of the squared residuals. That is called the Durbin-Watson statistic, and we can use that statistic to test the hypothesis that there is no autocorrelation. Okay, positive autocorrelation does not exist versus positive correlation does exist. Then we take this D and compare it against a critical value. So here the principle is the possible range for D is 0 through 4, and D should be close to 2, the midpoint, for the null hypothesis to be true. If it is to the other extreme, either close to 0 or close to 4, then the null hypothesis may not be true. So if D is less than 2 signals positive autocorrelation, D greater than 2 signals negative autocorrelation. But here is the test statistic from the table. So we go and get two values for D from the Durbin-Watson table from the back of the textbook. Now if the D falls in this range, we reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there is autocorrelation, which is not a good thing. If D is in this range, then it is inconclusive, and if D is in this range, okay, then we say not reject. Okay, no problem. So if D is in this range, then there is no problem of autocorrelation. Here we are not sure, and here we are definitely we have a problem with autocorrelation. So now let's compute these values in Excel.